Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Anthony Crolla here in the lead up to Jordan Thompson as he makes his big step up against Jai Opetaia. How are you doing, Anthony?
I'm good, thank you, mate. I'm good. Good to be here. You know what? I'm not saying that. I'm genuinely looking forward to this show now. And said, obviously, I've got my own interest with my fighter, Rhiannon Dixon. But I think it's a good little bill, and I'm really looking forward to the main event. Obviously, it's a big ask for Jordan, fellow Manchester lad, but that inner belief, that self-belief he's got, that can take you a long way. I think there's similar characters in that with him and Jai, but I think it's a fantastic fight, and I'm looking forward to it.
Let's talk about the main event first of all. We've said already it's a step up for Jordan. He's sort of hovered around British, European level. Jai is very much a world champion. He's proved himself over the last 18 months, couple of years.
Yeah. Oh, listen, he proved himself, like you said, last 18 months, but in the manner he won the title, it was, listen, for me it gets branded around a little bit too much in boxing, but he is a warrior, without a doubt, you know, to fight with a broken jaw for so many rounds and to beat the number one in the division, it's there's no denying, it was an unbelievable feat, and he's a part in taking boxing back to Australia. But obviously, you know, Jordan, I've known him a long time, big athletic lad, but that's only going to take you so far. That's only going to take you so far. But Jordan's in great spirits, and I think he hits, you know, that edge. You've got to give him a chance. There's no denying it'd be a huge upset if he did it. But it's when I think when you've got that punch, that it's more than a puncher's chance. He's got for sure, and like I say, that belief he has is something else. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think you've got two proper fighters in there Saturday.
I spoke to Chris Billam-Smith yesterday, and he was sort of comparing what Jordan has to do to what he did against Lawrence Okolie. He was a 3-1 outsider on that night.
Yeah, I think sort of, there's similarities in the fight for sure, but I feel like probably stylistically very different. But yeah, no, I think he's got to have that self-belief, just like Chris Billam-Smith did that night, that it would not be denied. And obviously, it's all right having that belief, but you've got to go and carry out the plans. You've got to carry out them in actions, you know what I mean?
For yourself, Rhiannon Dixon obviously out on the card, making her step up against Katharina Thunders. Yeah. She's only got one loss on the record, that's obviously to Terry Harper. Yeah. Do you have to look at that and see where she went wrong as to where you can get the victory on Saturday night?
Styles make fights, you know, Rhiannon and Terry are very different. Obviously that's at world level. Rhiannon's had 8 fights, literally 8 fights, and she had, I think, 7 white collar fights. Do you know what I mean? No more. Katarina's been around a long time, she's much more experienced. It's a step up, it's a big step up, we're not denying that, but we believe it's an opportunity that's not just hard to pass up. European title shots, they don't come around much, but it's a fight that we believe she can win, and a fight we believe she'll win on Saturday night. She's improving all the time. She won the Commonwealth title last time out, and she's improved again, and we're really excited for her. Like I said, there's a lot of respect to Katarina, what she's done. She's only lost the once at world title level, but we believe Rhiannon's more than ready for this.
In terms of Rhiannon's progression, you mentioned there just 8 fights into a professional career, but fighting for the European title. We've seen how fast some female boxers move towards that world title. She's obviously made a huge amount of progress in a short space of time, but whereabouts is she in her career?
She has, listen, obviously she wins on Saturday night. She's European champion, Commonwealth European champion in the last 2 fights, but I'm not going to be stupid, and, you know, a management team, Paul Redder, we'll sit down and we'll see where we're at. Obviously Saturday night is what we're focusing on, but we're not going to start making outrageous calls. And listen, the queen of that division, arguably the queen of boxing, is Katie Taylor, so we're not going to say that, but we just believe that she's been matched well in her career, and it's been gradually stepped up all the time, and she's been stepped up again on Saturday, and that's what I think after the fight on Saturday night, we come through that 2 titles, I'd be looking, obviously she'll get a nice world ranking, and we'll look to move up then, and when the time's right, those belts become available, then hopefully we're going to be in a good position to pounce.
I want to talk to you about Will as well. He's obviously making his first steps in the professional scene. What is it like for you watching him make those steps, and are there things he can learn from you?
It was, you know what, it was hard at times, because it was no secret Will. He had a long time out the ring. He probably wasn't living the right life and stuff like that, it's fair to say, but he's done really well, and he's a much better person now, as well as a better boxer, and it's good. I'm very proud of him to say that, obviously I don't say it much, but I'm very proud in the way he's turned it around. He lives the life of an athlete now. I was in with him this morning, watching him do his sprints, he's just very much boxing obsessed now, and obviously he's had one fight now, he's won that his debut, and then he's fighting on the Catterall Linares card. But yeah, he lives it, so I've got him down here for the rest of the week. We must keep an eye on him. Not that I need to now because he's very professional, but yeah.
For him as well, you've obviously been right at the top of the sport. He's going to lean on you for advice.
I think so. Yeah, it's probably the answer. Things to learn from me. William's been around my big nights, so even like in his fight, he's been out of the ring. He's been in the ring once in 7 years, an amateur, and it was just like with that, it wasn't alien to him. He saw the big nights, he saw the media and stuff like that. He got a lot of media interest, and he's very much with Will. It's like he's just happy to box here. He knows this comes with it, and one day he wants it where it's there's going to be big nights for him. That's sort of what he aspires to do, and he's only make a name for himself. He's not deluded where he's got on some of these big shows because of his second name, but he wants to show he's good enough to be on those shows anyway.
We've seen the pressure that's been put on people like Conor Benn, like Campbell Hatton. Yeah. Is it key at the moment that we keep the hype down, we keep the pressure down?
I don't. It is, but there is going to become pressure, there is going to become expectations, but he knows that. I think even as an amateur there was always expectations because he was my brother, so it's something he's had to deal with a long time, but now I think he's matured an awful lot and he knows that's going to come with it, but at the same time it is important not to be rushing him. Like you say, it's his second fight coming up. He's doing really good work in the gym, sparring great fighters and stuff like that, and picking up, valuable experience. But when the time's right, obviously at the minute I just want to get him a bit of experience. I want to get him a bit of activity. It was the second time in 7 years he boxed in May or June, so it's a long time. I just want to try and keep him active. He's out there in October, get him out again before Christmas, just get him active.
You mentioned Catterall Linares earlier. I want to get your thoughts on that fight. It's been quite a while since we've seen Jack Catterall, but he goes in there with somebody who's been right at the top, but people will expect him to do a good job. Of
course he will, with Jorge. I think I know Jorge better than most, to be honest, with the few fights. Jorge's a great guy, but I think, there's no denying, obviously, it's Jorge's seen that he's at the end of his career, and it isn't seen as the Jorge of old, so there's a lot on the line for Jack, and there's also a lot of pressure because people expect him to do a job. And if Linares just has a little bit left of what he used to have, he can still do a lot, do you know what I mean? But Jack, some people see him as the uncrowned champion in that division, obviously the fight with Josh Taylor, but it's one of them. He's got to be very professional about it, and what he's got to do is go about it in a good fashion. He's got to go about it in good fashion, but seeing Jack the other week, he seems in a great place. Obviously I'll catch up with Jorge when he's over here. But I'm looking forward to it. It makes me feel old knowing that I'm in the corner with my little brother who's having his second professional fight against a man who's topping the bill, who I shared the ring with, I don't know how many years ago, but about 7 years ago.
What sort of emotions does it bring back when you see Jorge Linares is still fighting right at the top level?
No, it is. But everyone always says, "Oh, you'll be coming back." No, absolutely not. I think it's coming up to 4 years, retired, and I'm very happy where I'm at. And there's never been a temptation to come back, and there won't be anytime soon.
I want to talk to you about one of your other old adversaries in Vasyl Lomachenko. I think many people were hoping the Haney-Lomachenko rematch would be on the cards, but it doesn't appear that that's going to be the case now. Haney obviously going down the Regis Prograis route. What do you think's next for Loma?
For Lomachenko, I'd be interesting. Obviously, I think now we'll see. He's had a little bit of time out. I think, like most people, I thought he was unlucky that night against Haney, but it's going to be hard now because his belt's become vacant. It's sad in a way that he might not get a chance to be undisputed again by the time it all comes together. And also, fighters coming through. Listen, look at this. I'm a huge Lomachenko fan, but you've got young fighters like SHAKUR Stevenson, who's unbelievable. At this moment in time. But listen, it'll be interesting. You'd still back Lomachenko against almost every name in the lightweight division, wouldn't you? So there's still huge fights for him.
Anthony, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Josh, man, thank you.
Good man.
Thank you.
We'll see you around.